Good morning.
You're watching Morning Coffee with Mike and Troy. So, something I'm kind of curious about. When I was younger, and I know you used to some extent. I don't know if it's to the extent that I do, or at least to the extent that I'm interested in it. You used to play video games to some extent, at least when you were a kid, going to arcades and stuff. And I remember we would play like computer games every now and then together, like Medal of Honor and stuff, right? At what point, like, how interested were you in video games when you were younger? And when did it kind of peter off? Like, when did you stop? Was it just life got in the way? or like, I guess, what was your interest in that type of thing to begin with?
Well, I don't know, like, I guess the answer is multifaceted, I suppose. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, I played video games, but, we had a lot of kids in our house, too, when I was growing up, so getting a hold of that, first and foremost, again, because I'm old, we didn't have the consoles that you guys have. I remember when we got our first Atari, where you could play Pong,
And you had, like, the Nintendo, too, right, with Mario and stuff?
Yeah, that came later. I think I was in junior high school, probably 8th or 9th grade, when we got the Nintendo, right, and Mario Brothers, and Knockout with Mike Tyson. So yeah, I played, but my brother Terry. I mean, he's always been the video game
much
guy,
more
right?
into it than you.
Still is, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Still is, but he always has been. So it was just more competitive to try to get your hands on the console with a house full of kids. So I was never the guy where like I had to play it. It was fun. Like if ever, all the kids are doing it, my brothers are doing it, and we're hanging out playing. But yeah, I was never the guy where I just had to do that. So kind of the same when I got older, right? When I was playing video games with you,
and Terry would play with us too.
That's what I was going to say. If you remember, that was because that was something that I was doing with my brother.
Yeah.
So because he was doing the LAN parties and all of that with Medal of Honor, and he had a team, and I think I ended up just sitting in on him, on one of his games one day, and so I started playing with him. And then, if you remember, he came over one day. It was actually when we were building that computer for you for Christmas. Mm-hmm. That's how that all started. So Terry was coming over, and we got you busy doing stuff, and then Terry and I would go and play work on the computer.
Yeah.
And it just turned into a thing, right, where he was bringing over Jack in the Box tacos, I think.
So maybe
Burger King tacos.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was tacos from one of those joints. But yeah, because you get like a pack of them for $1 or something. So I don't know, it just turned into like a Friday night thing.
Yeah.
And then after the computer was built, we had to try it out. So then we were trying to, so we had to break in your computer to make sure that it worked before you got it for Christmas. I don't know if you ever noticed that because we had computers everywhere, but
yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of it. So point being is when I played video games, it was more of a social family thing, right? Because you always liked video games, Terry always liked video games, so it was kind of that. I never got into...
It wasn't your main jam.
No, I just never did. Nope, that was just never my thing.
It was just a fun social family activity.
That's it, man.
I guess no different than like a lot of like people playing board games with their family or cards or something.
Yeah, well, and I always like board games too. But, like... There's that aspect of it, and then the other side of the coin is and you kind of said this too, but like that's the way that I am with anything in my life is I'm either all in or I'm out. I don't want to waste my time kind of doing something.
Yeah.
So no different than sports. People give me a hard time all the time. How do you not like football? I mean, a guy built with your stature and you're not a football guy. I played football. I always played football when I was a kid. I played football in high school. I was always a football guy. But now I have a job. And the way I always say, look, football is like watching a soap opera to me. I don't want to just watch a bunch of guys run around chasing each other in tights. If I'm going to watch football, I want to know the story, right? What the stats are, how this guy's doing this season, this, that, who's being traded. Right, you got to know what's going on, and it's not just what just happened on Monday night. There's a lot playing into it. And so I don't have time for that. So because I don't have time for that, I'm not going to waste my time watching the guys run around on the field.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with video games, right? I mean, what good does it do to sit down and play a video game for 2 hours a month? Mm-hmm. You're never going to get good at it.
Yeah, like it would have to be a thing like it's just like, oh, you're playing with like one of your kids or somebody's over and it's just like, oh yeah, I'll play for a little bit with you or whatever. I guess in your mind, right? Like,
Yeah.
like if I broke out like the old Nintendo, you'd probably play with me.
Yeah.
But like you would never just be playing by yourself.
Probably kick your butt too.
But no, I think it's the same for me because like gaming today is like evolved so much, and a lot of it's like really competitive multiplayer stuff, right?
Yeah.
And whenever like I've tried to like me and my brothers will play games together too, like I've played like Fortnite and stuff with them, right? And it's a shooter. But the problem is there's people in those lobbies that's all they do every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're either like professional, because there's like professional, like just like football, like gamers that compete in tournaments and stuff. So there's those people in there practicing, and then there's just the kids that don't go to school all summer, or the minute they get home they're playing, or adults that for whatever reason don't have a job. And there's so many people like in those lobbies that's their life. Then it makes it not very fun for the casual person, because you get in there and you're like, oh yeah, I know how to aim and shoot, but then like they're doing insane things that you can't even compete with. So I don't typically like playing stuff like that. So I find myself playing like a lot of older games, like that are just like, oh, you start it up and there's Mario and you just kind of go. You know what I mean? And so I think we're in the same boat, even though like I'd probably play more games than you, obviously, to this day. So, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting, I guess it's just interesting.
That's my story, man.
Cool. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more videos of me, click on the top right. If you want to see some videos of my dad, click on the top left. Click the like button if you liked the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay connected. And clicking the bell icon will help YouTube keep you notified of our activities. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you soon.